Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ballistic Report. I'm Taylor Moore here with Corey Spivey, and today we're going to look at the state of the Tennessee Titans, man. We lost a few players, we gained a few players, and then we seen one of our former players on the news. The Titans really had a lot going on for this free agency, and
Yeah.
and hopefully it will pay off this year. We know last year how that kind of worked out. But Corey, so as you kind of think about the free agency, man, what do you think about how the Titans did? And also, what's one player that stood out to you that we picked up?
You know, ultimately, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm kind of bored. And I'm also confused. I'm not as confused as I was when things started, but I'm still kind of out in no man's land, figuring out what is the direction here. Ultimately, if I can take a quote from my favorite Laker legend, ultimately the job's not finished. That's how I feel. There's still works to be done. There's still some moves that they need to make. And that confusion that I was talking about came from that secondary personnel dump. Like it came out of nowhere. I feel like it was slightly warranted, but I just feel like it came out of nowhere. And I'm not as confused as I was in the beginning, like I said, because I'm just waiting to see, maybe are they going in a new direction? I was upset about it at first, but now I'm trying to see, okay, new defensive coordinator. We're trying to fix some things. We came off of a sloppy year. Are we trying to go a new direction and those players didn't fit or what? So that's why I say I feel like I'm confused. I'm kind of in no man's land.
Yeah.
But to answer the second half of that question, the player that I feel like really stood out that they signed, or I guess if I can say re-signed, is Jayon Brown. He was my standout. Really? And let me tell you why. Jayon Brown was my standout because with the secondary dump and with the way that we came into last season, there was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of confusion. You see our team leader, Kevin Byard, on that defense talking about there was lack of communication over and over and over again. So you think about guys, we'll get into this a little bit later, Adoree Jackson, Jadeveon Clowney, Daquan Jones, Butler. I mean, the list goes on and on. All of these guys are gone. So I think Jayon Brown, he allows us to be able to retain some veteran leadership, some heart, some familiarity, and some surefire for certain talent. We know he can come in, do his job. He knows the system. We can trust him. We can rely on him. So he was my standout as far as who we signed or re-signed in the offseason, man.
Man, that's definitely a surprise for me, man. I wasn't expecting him out of all of them, but hey,
yeah,
the fact that we was able to get him back for cheap is a good thing too, because he was probably looking for more money, but hey,
yeah,
didn't get it,
Right.
But I would say overall, like the main issues that the Titans needed. I felt like we targeted those issues. We picked up Bud Dupree, and that's really like one of our staple signings. So he was saying that the Titans was his favorite team when he was younger. So hopefully that's something that can help motivate him, so he can carry on, so he can play the same way he did with the Steelers. But hey, he's still coming off that nasty ACL injury. So hopefully he's able to get through the right conditioning, get through the right rehab, so he can come back like he never left. But overall, like you were saying, we picked up a lot of filler pieces, it's a lot of 1-year deals that we have, so I kind of look at that two ways. Number one, a lot of players doing that, man, because of the new TV deal, man, so they know that the salary cap is gonna get hiked up for next year. So, so people are taking that high risk and hopefully they can perform well this year. So when it comes to the next off season, or the next one other than that, they can be able to cash in on the big payday, which is a big risk. But for us, as a GM bringing in those players, it can be a plus, only if everyone has the mindset that, hey, we are playing as a team and not trying to get their own individual stats, but overall, we didn't do a bad job. You know, I was just happy that we actually were kind of aggressive compared to our last couple of free agents.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I would say that I'm kind of glad for that. Um, but overall, I would say that one player that stood out to me was Josh Reynolds. You know,
Okay.
man, just the fact that we were able to find someone to replace Corey Davis, and it's so crazy, man. I looked it up and look at this. Corey Davis and Josh Reynolds, they both 26. They both 6'3", and they both were drafted in the 2007 draft.
I didn't think about that.
You know how wild that sounds, man. So I'm just hoping, I'm hoping that Josh Reynolds stays healthy. He buys into the system, man, because we know it's a run first offense. So hopefully he buys into the system.
Yeah.
You know, but man, but with Josh Reynolds, man, so so when he was with the Rams, he was basically like a third or fourth option. You know, they had Cooper Kupp, and then they had Robert Woods. You know, so when he came in, you know, he performed well. But other than that, he didn't get a lot of playing time. So now he has the chance to be that number 2 wide receiver, and we can see what he can do. You know, this past season, he had 52 receptions for 618 yards. As a number 3 or 4 receiver, you know, that's not too bad. You know,
Yeah.
so let's just see what he can do. If he can have that whole right side or the whole left side by himself, and he can take reins over from there. You know, and the fact that we signed him on a 1 year, $1.7 million deal, that's a steal. You know, but at the same time, if he does perform well, I hope the Titans will be willing to pay him. But at the same time, you know, we have AJ Brown coming up, and if he plays well again, you know, you have to pick and choose at some point.
Yeah.
But but that's why it's important for us, really, the mode that the Titans in now. Man, we're like in a win now mode. Like we have to win now, you know, because at some point we're gonna have to repay some of these players who are performing well on their rookie deal. So we have to win now. So that's, so for me, we did good in the draft, but hopefully we're able to bounce back this year and maintain the offense. So as you were saying, man, we lost a lot of Titan players from this past season. So which one was a surprise for you? I mean, we knew some were going to leave, man, but which one was like a surprise to you? Like, they let him go?
Okay, so I'm probably gonna raise your eyebrows again, but let me go ahead and address the elephant in the room. My original choice was Adoree Jackson. He was the surprise for me at first, but then as I began to think about it, I looked back at what happened those first few weeks after the injury, because it went from 3 to 6 and it kept going. And then he came back and he looked like a shell of himself. He was getting embarrassed. So then I began to think, okay, with what they saw while he was off the field and what they saw when he came back and what they've seen so far from his injury progression, is that what led them to say, he's not right and we don't have time? So then as I began to think about that, I said, you know what, I can't go for him. So then this is my Desmond King.
What?
He was my surprise. Here's why.
Okay.
He was my surprise because I felt like if we were going to get him for that short of time, why not just leave him there?
True.
We didn't really, he didn't really shift anything. So I feel like it was wasted time, wasted money, wasted transaction. So I felt like, even though I knew his contract was going to expire, I just felt like he did enough to at least get another 1-year deal. So, and then when they dumped everybody, it was like, okay, are you going to keep anything? I mean, Desmond King is a solid defensive back. You know what I'm saying? So It was a surprise to me. We knew Malcolm Butler was gone because of the contract thing.
Yeah.
So we knew Kenny Vaccaro was gone because he just wasn't getting it. He wasn't bad. He wasn't really great. He just wasn't getting it. But I just thought Desmond King was probably the best person to keep outside of our core guys. So when he got released, I really, really thought they were going to give him a chance because they were talking about him like he was this guy that was going to shift the culture going forward. And then it was like 1 year later, yeah, we'll just let him go. So that surprised me.
And he was young too.
He was young.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. I see that now. I see that. Yeah. I was kind of surprised too, but it had to be something, man, that they seen within him throughout that season. Because that first game he came with us, man, he had interception, running back. We're like, oh yeah, we good. And after that, and really after that, it just kind of seemed like that he was just one of the cornerbacks for the Titans after that, but still, like you were saying, man, the fact that they let go some of our veteran players, like why not keep him in the rotation? So I don't know about that one. But for me, you might say something about this one, but I thought it was our right tackle, Dennis Kelly, man. We let him go.
He was in my mind too.
Dude, I was sick.
Yeah.
Dude, look, all right, man, because I kept saying that. I kept saying this, man. Listen, I don't care, like really, like who's like an offensive coordinator. At this point, it's a run first offense. We know what we have to do. Keep our pieces together because if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And I know. All right. So for him, so he signed like a 3-year, like $17 million extension last year. So by us releasing him this year, man, we basically freed up I think about $3.3 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking myself, like compared to what we like could have given up. I mean, we could have bit the bullet on that and kept him. And the fact that he started all 16 games for his past season, and the fact that we drafted our boy Isaiah Wilson, a right tackle, and Dennis Kelly filled in as a right tackle, and he did well the whole season. It was a no-brainer. So that was something, man, where I was kind of sick, man, but they did re-sign a couple offensive linemen, man. So hopefully they can be able to fit into the system, man, so we can just keep it rolling again, man. So Derrick Henry, man, can try to lead the league in rushing again. But yeah, I wasn't happy about it. Like I understand it, it's a biz, you're trying to save money, but like some players you just have to pay them and keep them, man. Especially if they are benefiting towards us progressing as a top 10, top 5 offense in the league. You have to keep those pieces together.
Yeah.
So after we looked at the players that we have released from the Titans and also the players that we have picked up, what position you think we probably need to address in the draft?
So I'll start off by saying this, man, because the more and more I begin to think about how many things have changed, I'm a little, not even a little, I'm nervous for next season because we've got a whole new team, and I'm starting to doubt Mike Vrabel. Not his coaching skills, his vision. Okay. I don't know what are you doing here? The draft, the free agency moves, the defensive game plan. I'm nervous. So I preface my statement with that because I think the defensive side of the ball is where we need to start. But I think it has to be the defensive line. The defensive line. They have to change things because as of now, with the failure to sign certain players, we missed on certain players last year. The only anchor we have on that defensive line now is Jeffrey Simmons, and he's a great anchor. He's a great anchor. But the issue is there's not enough around him to make an impact. Because if he's the only anchor, you've got to address that. Because what's going to happen is if he's your go-to guy, if he's the only threat, we're just going to double him. You know what I'm saying? And I know they picked up Autry. They picked up, Bud, who are going to give them some help rushing the pass.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like there's enough there. And that's why I say I'm nervous because I don't know where we're going. We've dumped the offensive line. We've dumped the defensive line. We've missed on so many players. We missed in the draft. Like, where are we going? We had a defensive coordinator position that was completely up in the air, we have to address the defensive side of the ball, specifically the defensive line.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So I know that they're going to target the defensive side of the ball, and man. But my thing is that like they have so many players that they signed to the defensive side. I'm like, listen, like you said, like we can't even put any trust into the defense this upcoming season. That they're going to improve. So for me, I would say to continue to solidify your offense. AJ Brown, Taylor Warren, man, because I know AJ Brown hung out with Elijah Moore. He's a slot wide receiver for Ole Miss. He just had his pro day. He ran a 4.3, 2 or something like that. Hey, man, if he's anything like AJ Brown, we need him on our team. If he has that drive, if he has that tenacity, we need him on the offensive side of the ball. And just to help spread out our offense a little bit, man, because we know in the playoffs and when they take Derrick Henry out the game, they can easily try to double team AJ Brown. They can put their best cornerback on AJ Brown, and we need to help spread the offensive out to help make Tannehill more comfortable, because when you get that pressure, he just does a little bit of everything, and most of the time it goes to the wrong side of the field and turn over and the game over. So that's why I would say that just the fact that we don't know where the defense is going, like you said, we don't have any type of identity on the defensive side of the ball, and there's no telling that the team is going, no telling that the defensive side is going to improve. Now, looking at it on paper, like we said last year, man, looks defense is about to be right. We're about to do everything, and what happened? So I'm hoping, like you said, if the defense can get their things together with the free agency signing, and then they bring in a nice rookie class, we should be good to go. We should be good to go.
Yeah.
It's a big if, but like you saying, they definitely need to address the defensive side of the ball. When it comes to the cornerbacks, man, like we signed Janoris Jenkins, and someone I'm kind of looking forward to seeing for a full season. The fact that we kind of had like the COVID-19 kind of figured out just a little bit, not all the way. I want to see Christian Fulton. Like I want to see him. I want to see him have a full season. He's 1 year into the league. He's able he's able to adjust to being a NFL professional. Hopefully, he'll be able to take one side of the field and hold it down. So that's why, like you said, man, the defensive line should be the area to address, because if we can have a solid defensive line, the cornerbacks can be more comfortable, the safeties be more comfortable, the linebackers will be more comfortable. So, like you said, definitely defensive line. But if I had to choose something I know we need to address, it's definitely that a wide receiver position.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up, man, we got to talk about Isaiah Wilson again, man. We know he finally got his wish. He was traded from the Titans. He went to Miami, and then a couple of days later, what happened? He was released, and then I seen on the news. We've seen it. And then from there, we seen a couple of days later, a week later, whatever, he was arrested. So Corey, man, what's your thought on this situation again, man? I feel like each time we talk about the Tennessee Titans, we always bring them up, and it's not in a good way. So what do you think about, this might be his final straw?
So I think there's two ways of looking at this. There's his football life, and then there's his personal life. I don't think it's his last straw, because we've seen situations like Antonio Brown is back, Ben Roethlisberger comes back, Adrian Peterson comes back, Ray Rice, that never happened. Cap, we know those things are kind of outside. But I think there's Josh Gordon, I think there's ways for him to get back in there, especially with him being so young.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to make a change. The difference that's going to keep him from getting back in the league is he ever going to change that mindset? Now, in a vacuum, we have a small sample size. He's messed up a lot in a short amount of time. So it's kind of difficult to move forward. But I think from his personal life, he needs help. Like something happened that we don't know, we may not ever know. But I just feel like if this is the way he was behaving, this information would have came out from somebody in Georgia, like, he's a stud, but bruh, something ain't going right. So there was something happened in that transition period from college into the NFL. Was it the money? Was it a family situation? Like, I mean, something happened. I don't know how to explain it, that made him not be able to shift. Like it's like he hasn't grown up yet. And again, it's his first year, but he's messed up a lot, as I said, in a short amount of time. He needs help. Right now, I think football should be the last thing on his mind, because some people, when they're going through things, they can use their sport or their craft as an escape. And I don't think football is serving him well. I think football has kind of fueled, not even football, it's the NFL's perks that have fueled him into becoming more of what he is. So I think football needs to be off of his mind right now. He needs to work on developing Isaiah Wilson as a man, and then we can start trying to make this way back to football. But right now, this is disturbing, man.
Yeah, Cora. So let me ask you something. So do you think that it's more of mental health, or is it more of just his mentality and his circle, man? Because you know how, sometimes, all right, now, some people can be quick, man, to say that, hey, mental health, mental health, mental health,
Yeah.
And sometimes it can just be that person's attitude and just them not, hey, Taylor, get yourself together, man. Stop making excuses. Just do what you have to do. So is it more of mental health, or is it more of, hey, man, look, make sure you surround yourself with right people, and you have to just get your attitude and mind right to be successful?
I think again, we'll never know. But from pure speculation, what it looks like is it's his mentality. I don't think, like you said, man, that mental health thing, it's real, but some people water it down because they know what comes with it. It's kind of like pleading insanity in a courtroom.
True.
People sometimes plead mental health to get out of irresponsibility in their actions. Now, I don't know if that's him, but that's what it's appearing to be. I don't know that he was the one that asked to be isolated from the team. I don't know that he was the one that asked to go get some psychological help while he was away from the team. I don't know that he even maybe wanted to be traded. I don't know that was him. I think that was a matter of just situation control on the franchise. So I think, again, this is pure speculation. I think it's more on his mentality. When I say, and this is the last thing I say, when I say something happened, it can be something that affected his real mental health and has made him kind of go off the deep end. But it can also be just something as simple as, I ain't never had this much freedom, time, money, and fame, and I don't know how to handle it. That could also just be one of some things that happened during that transition.
Yeah, because I can't imagine, man, you being 19, 20, 21 years old, and you give me 4 or 5 million guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Man, and I would say that, for that age and being a male, you're not all the way there yet as far as the mentality of, hey, maybe some of this I might need to put back a little something, for now. Maybe I might need to make sure that I protect his money, because I don't know how long I will be in the league. And like you said, I hope it's not all strictly just like mental health. Like, I hope it's really something that can be more easy to fix as far as him. Hey, just watch out who you are being around 24/7, because that can affect how you can act. But I would say also, maybe as we wrap up, you know, man, probably okay, man. So what can the NFL do more? Too, man, because I know that there will be like some type of like rookie events that they'll have, like for the incoming classmen, just to help them be aware that hey, you're not in college anymore. Are you gonna have a bigger light? Are you gonna have certain women coming to you for the wrong reason and whatnot? Man. So maybe they need to. Okay, so maybe the NFL might need to look at more programming for rookies coming to the league. Just to make sure that they stay on the right path. Man, because at the end of the day, okay, man, because at the end of the day, all right, so the Titans traded him. All right, so the Titans traded him, so they're off of the Titans back. And now from there, Miami released him, so now they're off of Miami back. So now he's just out there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so I would hate for that just to be the end, and I would hate for the NFL just to be like, okay, he didn't perform well here, he didn't act right, we're just gonna let him go and that's it. So maybe there could be some type of programming, something in the future for the next, rookie class to come to make sure we can prevent certain things like this happening, man. But the fact is too that not that many rookies kind of do what Isaiah Wilson does,
Yeah.
it did too, so maybe, like you said, you don't want to really you don't want to really want to call it mental health right off the bat, but at the same time, like it's something going on. And hopefully he can get it together before it's too late. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping the NFL can try to do something too in the future to help out rookies transition into the league, especially with all that money, man.
Yeah. And one of the last things, and I kind of want to hear what you want to say about this as I'm thinking, there are movie stars and rappers, other celebrities that do the same things that Isaiah Wilson is doing, even from a worse than he's doing, if you could even call it bad. And yet they don't end up in the news for it's looked upon as a glamorous lifestyle. So how much of it is that this is who he's always been, but he's just now getting a chance to really enjoy life? Like you said, 19, 20 years old, man. Like if he wasn't in the NFL, would it be such a big issue? The things that he's doing now, of course, we know, the things that he had going on with the misconduct and the issues going on with COVID. We know those are off limits in the NFL or not.
Yeah.
But how much of it is he's just being a kid, a young man, trying to adapt to this lifestyle? Again, some of the young athletes, period, they love whatever game they're playing purely for the fun of it. Like, I love this. I enjoy that I'm getting this stuff off of it. I'm a celebrity. I'm famous now. But I enjoy the game of football. So whether they pay me or not, whether I got the lifestyle or not, I'm going to play football. Every athlete is not like that. And did Isaiah Wilson end up in a situation where, you know what, I didn't really like football that much. I just wanted a way out of whatever situation that I was in. I was good at football, so I just wanted to, run a couple checks up, have some fun. Now, was that a situation?
Corey, honestly, you make a really good point. Because you already said earlier, when someone actually, has money, it kind of shows who they really are.
Yeah.
And number one, as we can kind of see, I don't want to judge this guy because I don't have no room to judge anyone, but just the fact that, hey, he went from going to party, he's doing donuts in the street. It's like,
yeah,
it's unnecessary. It's bottom line, it's unnecessary. But like you said, this man is 6'7", over 300 pounds, knocking people over.
Yep.
He's not a normal specimen, man. Listen,
right.
I'm 6'1", about 190. If I stood next to Isaiah Wilson, I would look like a midget.
Right. Yeah.
Man, but like you said though, he might not have really enjoyed playing football, but he just knew that, hey, with the abilities that I have in my physical shape, I could really do this without even trying. So let me
Yeah.
just do it, and to a certain extent, him playing football probably saved him from a lot of trouble as a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, in the NFL, NBA, hey, this was my way out instead of doing drugs, instead of dealing drugs, instead of me, being in the game and whatnot. This was a way out. So maybe this was a way for him just to get out. This was an outlet, like you were saying. This is this kind of like an escape for him.
Yeah.
And for his ability and size, like, hey, for the time being, let me do what I gotta do. I know I can make it to the NFL, but once I make it, hey, what's next? And like you said, for the love of the game, you got some people who are talented and they know they can play well and they like football. But then you have some people who study, who love the game, a student of the game, and will play for free.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Isaiah Wilson is not one of those guys. And that's okay. But the problem is,
it's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. But the problem is the fact that he's carrying himself now in the NFL, because he not only is representing himself and his family, he's representing the NFL. Man, when you play for the Titans, you're doing all that. When you play for the Titans and you get in trouble, the Tennessee Titans player, Isaiah Wilson, you get traded. The Miami Dolphins player, Isaiah Wilson, and those teams are part of the NFL. I mean, you represent the NFL.
Yep.
And that's the same thing with this Deshaun Watson situation. It's a sad situation, but he's not only representing himself. He's with the NFL that he's going up against basically now because because he's a star player in the league.
Yep.
And I hate that happened to both of them, but it's a jacked up situation, man, because you don't know really what, man. I mean, because to a certain extent, man, you don't know really like what to point to for the exact reason, man, because it's probably more than one reason, probably more factors to what's going on with it.
Definitely is, but we're never going to see that. And I'm glad you pointed this thing out as we wrap it up. If he just wanted the money, everybody that's watching, it's okay.
It's okay.
We talked about a little bit of this, with the NBA players. We have to realize they are still humans. And I think the easiest way for us to be able to realize that is to put ourselves in the situation. And in the situation, I'll close with this. If we had jobs and we just out of nowhere, rose up the ranks and made $5 million, but we still say, man, you know what? I want to stay at McDonald's. I want to stay at Burger King, even though I've made my millions of dollars. No, you'd probably retire and go do what you want to do. Yeah. So maybe, like you said, he uses the opportunity to get the money, got what I wanted, now. If that's what you're doing, I'm cool with it. But if you're trying to have a career in the NFL, you're going to have to go another route. And I'll leave it at that, man.
Yeah. That's a nice analogy, man, to compare, to people who have, quote unquote, regular jobs, and it's something else, man. But, hopefully he can get it together, man. We definitely have to, keep him in prayer, man. Hopefully he can get it together, man, so he can at least figure out what he want to do with his so we can figure out what he want to do with his life, whether it's football or not.
Yeah.
Whether it's football or not, hopefully he can just get his mind right, But we thank everyone for tuning in for this episode. Please like, share, subscribe with those around you. And thank everyone again. We'll talk to you later on the next episode.